Like, they write Bill like he has a big ego, but that big ego, I think, would make Bill want to stay alive. So him being so stubborn about all this stuff is becoming very, very unrealistic. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? We are back to talk about another episode of Beyond the Gates as we start a new week of Beyond the Gates. I anticipated coming in here trying to be positive about today's episode, but they did in fact piss me off in the last minute, and now I don't really know if I want to be positive about this episode because I do still think the writing absolutely sucks. But let's get into this episode. Dani and Hayley started the episode hot. I enjoyed that they came in still arguing. This is one of the things that has still been entertaining me. Dani and Hayley sparring and bickering. Hayley telling Dani that she's neglecting Andre. Dani says that she has no romantic interest in Bill. The connection is only through their daughters. Hayley says it's interesting she says that when Chelsea and Naomi are so into this idea that Hayley is having an affair, supposedly, and she asked Dani if Dani put this in their heads. Dani says they don't care enough about Hayley as much as Hayley thinks that they do, always thinking about Hayley. Dani says nobody cares about Hayley. Naomi ends up interrupting them arguing. They were still in Bill's office doing this arguing. Hayley asks Naomi to remind her mom that Bill is her ex for a reason and she needs a life beyond Bill. So Hayley again getting the best of Dani. Dani's pathetic self, always going to bat for Bill when Bill has only ever treated Dani like trash. Dani told Naomi that Hayley is up to something. Now she's certain of it and they need to get her away from Bill. Dani wishes there was a video of Ashley having Hayley taken out by security. So they joked about that. But before the joke, we now have Dani, I guess, really going to be trying to come at Hayley, figure out what Hayley's really going on. I think I called this weeks ago. In fact, I called this months ago. That at the end of the story, whenever they finally decide that they're actually going to maybe end this storyline, Dani's going to be the one to help Bill, obviously, or save Bill's life, or take down Hayley. That's the way I foresee all of that going down. Madison gave Bill some good news at the hospital. He's free to go. Yay. So they just stalled us for weeks with Bill in the hospital. No real progress in the story other than he has a pacemaker now, which is just another health issue on this damn show. But Madison doesn't want Bill to relapse and says, please follow the recovery plan. Hayley brought the work computer, which is why she was at Bill's office in the first place. But she comes and learns the good news that Bill is getting discharged. Ashley walks in to see them kiss and freaks out, and Hayley told Ashley to unclench. It was only a kiss. Ashley reminds Bill to have adequate rest and ease back into the swing of things and follow the doctor's orders, basically, and that he needs to be a part of this cardiac rehab program. Bill, of course, decides to be stubborn and dumb and doesn't want to be a part of that program. And it's getting to the point where it feels unrealistic. Like, it's always been a bit much that this lawyer is so dumb when it comes to Hayley. But now they don't only have him dumb, they have him being extra stubborn. Bill just doesn't come across as someone to me that would get this bad with a health issue and be this stubborn about doing things that would only benefit him living. Like, they write Bill like he has a big ego, but that big ego, I think, would make Bill want to stay alive. So him being so stubborn about all this stuff is becoming very, very unrealistic. But Bill and Hayley headed home. Bill showers, and that gives Hayley some time to put her poison in alcohol. Bill is wary about drinking alcohol, but Hayley says the release paper says moderate alcohol is okay, so Bill drinks the poisoned alcohol and Hayley smirks. Hayley is worried about talking to his kids, doesn't want to hear about how they think she is cheating. Bill says that he knows she isn't cheating. We'll get back to them in a second. Let's talk about some other people. Chelsea was with Kat. Chelsea got another unknown call. Kat answered this time and asked who it was. She said she could hear the breathing on the other side of the phone, but they did in fact hang up again. And Chelsea thinks it is Allison messing with her. Kat tries to calm her. Says that Allison is in an institution, but Chelsea is wondering if she was discharged. Maybe some psychiatrist thinks that Allison is better. So Chelsea goes to the hospital, happy to hear that her father is released, but really wants to talk to Madison about not being okay today, with it being the anniversary of being kidnapped and now getting these phone calls. She thinks it could be Allison. Anita and Vernon started today's episode worried about Naomi doing double duty with Bill being out and her taking on a lot of Bill's work. They wondered, why can't someone at the firm handle all that stuff? Sounds like Anita and Vernon were actually taking Tomas's side today. But Dani ends up coming by, and Anita wants to talk to Dani about how worried she is where Dani and Bill are concerned, saying that Dani seems very close to Bill right now, and it's the closest they've been in a long time, and that definitely worries her. Dani says, don't worry, Andre makes her happy. But Anita says the problem is that no matter how happy Andre makes her, Bill will always be Dani's Achilles heel, which we all know to be true with all the damn elevator sex and whatnot. Dani denies all this, living in denial. She continues to run from the truth. Dani brings up Hayley, though, and how Hayley is up to something. And her parents don't want Dani involved with this, saying that just because Dani and Bill have a new friendship, it doesn't mean that Dani has to fix all of Bill's problems. But Dani seems pretty adamant. And like I said earlier, this is going to continue to be Dani eventually being the one to help Bill with Hayley, or just take down Hayley. I really do think that will be the case. Marcel was on today. He was pissy at work with Jacob, who asked if something went wrong with the date with Leslie, which of course meant Leslie was going to arrive. And she apologized to Marcel for taking a blowtorch for what they had going on. Marcel wants Leslie to know that he is a simple man who likes simple things, but she continues to try and push him to be his best version. Now, really, all Leslie's been doing with Marcel these past few episodes is trying to make Marcel like Ted. That's what it seems like. She just still wants Ted. She wants Marcel to be like Ted. But they end up at the hotel. They start to get busy, but they still end up bickering about how Leslie doesn't want to live on a boat with Marcel and how she's kind of been mocking him and how he likes living on a boat. So Leslie did end up apologizing for mocking him, and she says she doesn't want to lose what they have, and then they go back to getting frisky. I like that Leslie seemed to want to hang on to this thing with Marcel. I'm going to say this. A lot of couples on this show, most of them don't do it for me. I hate to say it, but Leslie and Marcel are one of the few couples I actually like on the show. No, they're not must-see television, but they do at least entertain me. And there's something there. And it's not always about sex. I mean, a lot of that it is. Most of the couples on this show, it's about sex, it seems like, which is crazy for a show written by a 75-year-old. You would think there'd be a little more depth to the couples. But there's something there with Leslie and Marcel that I do like, and I don't necessarily know why, but they do it for me. It's like a grown couple. They actually do feel like a grown couple going through grown things, and I think that's a nice change of pace. Kat stopped by the police station to tell Jacob that it's the 1-year anniversary of Chelsea's kidnapping, and Chelsea's getting strange calls, and Chelsea thinks it's Allison. Jacob says that if it was a call from Allison, it would start with a facility recorded prompt. Kat asks what if Allison escaped. So Jacob was thinking it was highly unlikely that she escaped and that Chelsea would have been notified immediately. Jacob says it is possible that Allison got her hands on a phone, though. So Jacob called the facility and found out that Allison is still locked up, and a guard will be checking to see if she has a phone. I'm glad that they at least let us know quickly that it's probably not Allison. But then who would be calling Chelsea? Is this going to be a new storyline? Another obsessed fan? Because that would be a little repetitive. I just, per usual lately, I hope it's something interesting, whatever it is with Chelsea and these phone calls. What was very interesting was that Kat hugged Jacob and thanked him for taking this seriously. And I still do think that Kat and Jacob is a way this show can go to give us more drama. And I do actually think they have some chemistry. Certainly more than Jacob and Naomi or Kat and Tomas have. That's for damn sure. Naomi and Chelsea end up interrupting Hayley and Bill making out at home now that Bill's back from the hospital. I enjoyed Hayley's remark about so much for calling first, because that was the ground rules that Hayley and Bill tried to set with Chelsea and Naomi about coming over, and they're already not following it, even though that's the ground rules that Hayley wanted. Listen, you can't make me hate Hayley these days. I don't know how they're going to get out of this storyline and make it satisfying, but it's going to have to be in a way that Hayley's still on the show. Because these past several weeks now, Hayley is the most entertaining character to me. She has great lines. She is always getting one up on Dani, which is a nice change of pace. So I'm going to need Hayley to stick around, even though I really do want this storyline to end. What would be even better is if Lynette was still around too. I mean, two great characters, but instead this show would rather pretend as though we care about Tomas storylines, we care about Naomi having surprise parties for her with all these boring characters. Like, please. But anyway, Hayley went away and went to go make and start a healthy dinner for Bill. And then we get this scene where it looks like Bill's having a heart attack and passes out when he stands up, and of course Naomi and Chelsea freaking out, and they think he stopped breathing and they think he's dead, and then it happens to just be a daydream from Hayley. And that annoyed me. That pissed me off, because this show could use actual drama instead of this fake out shit. When are we going to get actual drama on this show? When will this show actually be a daytime drama again? Because outside of a few weeks in June, and I think, 1 week in May, there has not been a whole lot of drama on this show for what is called a daytime drama. So yeah, less fake outs, more actual drama would be nice.